Malcolm Thorne decided that if today was the day he died, then at least he would die standing. That was harder than it sounded. The throne room of Kelvera was not built for humans. It was grown. Tall walls of living crystal curved upward like frozen waves, glowing softly from within. The light bent and split as it passed through the walls, painting the floor with moving colors that never stayed still. The palace hummed quietly, not like a machine, but like something alive and thinking. Malcolm stood alone at the center. No chair. No water. No mercy. At the far end of the chamber sat Queen Celendes of Kelvera. She looked almost human, which somehow made her more frightening. Her skin was pale and smooth, nearly white. Her long hair shimmered like glass under starlight. Her face was calm, perfect, and carefully controlled. Only her ears revealed the truth, long, elegant, and angled back in a way no human ever could. Behind her stood guards in dark armor, holding weapons large enough to end cities. Malcolm swallowed. He was not a soldier. He was not a hero. He was a translator. And humanity had just lost a war. Malcolm Thorne, Queen Celendes said. Her voice carried across the chamber without effort. The palace itself seemed to listen. You stand before us after your people attacked our worlds. Yes, Your Majesty, Malcolm said. In our defense, we are very bad at knowing when we should stop. A quiet ripple moved through the court. Not laughter. Something sharper. You were not chosen because you command fleets, the Queen continued. You were chosen because you speak truth across languages. Malcolm sighed softly. That's generous. Usually I just help people argue more clearly. One guard lifted his weapon slightly. The Queen raised a single finger. The guard froze. Control radiated from her, not loud, not angry, just absolute. There is a word among my people, Celendes said. Crocma. The sound felt heavy in the air. It means truth spoken without consequence. When Crocma is invoked, no lie may be spoken. No punishment may follow. Malcolm felt his stomach tighten. That sounded less like mercy and more like a trap. You will speak under Crocma, the Queen said. You will tell me why humanity came to war. Why you failed. And why I should allow your species to continue existing. Malcolm took a slow breath. Well, he said, if I'm allowed to be honest, that's a terrible question to ask a human. Silence. Then he spoke. He told her about Earth's broken governments. About leaders who confused fear with strength. About generals who believed bigger weapons could replace understanding. He spoke about pride layered over desperation, about a species that reached for the stars before learning how to live together. We didn't come because we were strong, Malcolm said. We came because we were scared. Celendes listened without interrupting. And you? She asked. What do you think of me? Malcolm blinked. That had not been part of the plan. But Crocma pushed forward. I think you're brilliant, he said slowly. Terrifying. Exhausting. You carry responsibility like armor. And I think you love your people enough to burn the galaxy for them. Weapons hummed louder. Malcolm lifted his shoulders. Also, respectfully, your diplomacy could use snacks. For the first time, the Queen smiled. Not kind. But real. That was when Malcolm realized he was in more danger than before. The Queen rose from her throne. Crystal shifted behind her, folding smoothly like a living thing. She stepped down toward him, each footstep ringing softly through the palace. You insulted my rule, she said. Yes. You questioned my authority. Yes. You implied my people lack hospitality. That one I stand by. A long pause stretched between them. Then Celendes turned away. Lower your weapons. The guards obeyed instantly. The tension in the room cracked, but it did not disappear. Seats grew from the crystal floor, forming a circle. One rose beneath Malcolm. Sit, the Queen said. If you speak truth, you will not do so like prey. Malcolm hesitated. This won't dissolve me, right? No. Painfully. No. Comfortably. Adequately. He Saturday. The seat adjusted to him perfectly. Points for furniture, he muttered. Celendes sat across from him, not on her throne, but equal. Continue, she said. Malcolm leaned back. Then I'll be honest again. Your council fears peace more than war. War keeps power simple. Peace asks questions. A hiss of anger rose behind her. And, Malcolm added, your sister believes you hesitate too much. She thinks patience is weakness. She's wrong, but she's dangerous. The temperature dropped. Frost-like patterns spread across the crystal walls. Celendes stood slowly. Who among you, she asked the council, has spoken to my sister? No one answered. Fear filled the silence. More than one of them, Malcolm said gently. Paranoia loves company. Weapons snapped up. Crocma, Celendes said sharply. The weapons froze in mid-air. The guards stared in shock. Malcolm blinked. That is extremely useful. The Queen turned back to him. Do you fear death, Malcolm Thorne? Yes, he said instantly. Very much. I also fear awkward silences, so today has been challenging. A flicker of amusement crossed her face. You believe this truth serves my people? Yes. And yours? Yes. And you believe I have ignored the danger within my own court? Malcolm hesitated, then spoke. No. I think you saw it. I think you hoped it would resolve itself. And hope is the most dangerous luxury a ruler can afford. The frost melted. The palace light warmed. Leave us, Celendes said to the council. When they were alone, she looked tired. If you are wrong, she said, millions die. If I'm wrong, Malcolm replied, I die. That feels fair. He was escorted, not to a cell, but to a chamber that sealed itself gently. Time passed strangely. Light never changed. When the wall opened again, Celendes stood on a balcony overlooking two massive armies, human and Kelveran, waiting to destroy each other. You may join me, she said. They stood together in silence. You were correct, she said at last. My sister moved against me. Malcolm winced. I hate being right. I will address the council, Celendes said. You will stand with me. That's the part where I die publicly, isn't it? You may refuse, she said. You will be returned to your people. Malcolm thought of safety, then sighed. I really need to stop being honest. The balcony filled with leaders. Crocma, the Queen said. Truth slammed into the air. She exposed the betrayal calmly. Then Malcolm spoke. If you replace a ruler who thinks before acting with one who acts before thinking, he said, you won't get strength. You'll get speed. And speed without direction is how civilizations crash. Silence followed. The council dispersed, shaken. Below them, fleets powered down. War ended quietly. Later, Celendes stood beside Malcolm as ships withdrew. My sister is exiled, she said. The council reformed. Everyone will hate that, Malcolm said. Which means it is necessary. You're sending me home? He asked. No, she said. You will serve as envoy. Malcolm laughed softly. You trust me. You spoke truth when it was unwise, she said. That is rare. He extended his hand. She took it. As Malcolm boarded the shuttle, he realized something had changed. Honesty was no longer a weakness. It was power. Malcolm Thorne had always believed that surviving a war would feel dramatic. Explosions. Cheers. Maybe a medal. Instead, survival felt like paperwork. The human shuttle drifted slowly away from Kelvera's crystalline skyline. From the viewport, the planet looked calm and distant, its living crystal cities glowing softly beneath a thin veil of atmosphere. Malcolm sat strapped into a narrow seat, hands folded, staring at a future he had not planned to reach. Across from him, a human officer cleared her throat. Ambassador Thorne, she said carefully, as if the title might explode. Earth Command is confused. Malcolm nodded. That tracks. They're asking how a translator ended a war. Malcolm closed his eyes. Poor communication. The officer didn't smile. Back on Earth, the reaction was worse. Screens filled with shouting politicians, skeptical generals, and analysts who had already decided Malcolm was either a hero, a traitor, or dangerously naive. None of them had been in the throne room. None of them had felt Crocma settle into their bones like gravity. "You trusted an alien queen," one senator snapped. "I trusted honesty," Malcolm replied. "Which I admit is unusual for our species." That ended the meeting early. 3 days later, the first Kelvaran delegation arrived in Earth orbit. Panic followed. Human ships scrambled into defensive formations. News feeds screamed about invasion. Markets collapsed briefly, then rebounded when nothing exploded. Malcolm stood aboard the neutral station, watching the massive Kelvaran envoy ship dock with impossible grace. Its hull shimmered like polished crystal, reflecting Earth's blue curve. "Remember," he muttered to himself, "don't insult their furniture." The airlock opened. Queen Celendes stepped through. She wore no crown, no armor, only a flowing garment woven with faintly glowing threads that shifted color with her movement. Behind her came a small honor guard, weapons sealed and inactive. The station went silent. Malcolm walked forward. "Welcome to Earth," he said. "We apologize in advance." Her long ears tilted forward slightly. "For everything." She considered that an honest warning. They met in a chamber designed to look neutral and comforting. Soft lights, simple chairs, artificial plants pretending to be alive. Celendes touched one gently. "This one does not think," she observed. "No," Malcolm said. "But it also doesn't judge." Negotiations began. They were slow, painfully slow. Humans argued over borders that didn't exist yet. Kelvarans questioned human chain-of-command logic. Translators worked overtime trying to soften phrases that meant very different things in different cultures. At one point, a human general leaned forward. "If peace fails," he said, "what stops your people from wiping us out?" Celendes answered calmly. "The same thing that stops you." The room leaned in. "Fear," she said. "And consequence." Malcolm added, "Also paperwork. Lots of it." That earned him a few looks. Behind the formal talks, tension brewed. Malcolm noticed it first in the Kelvaran delegation. Quiet glances. Subtle shifts in posture. One advisor spoke less than the others, his long ears often angled back in a way Malcolm had learned meant calculation. "Something's wrong," Malcolm said quietly to Celendes during a break. "You sense it too," she replied. "Your sister." Celendes nodded once. Exile does not remove ambition. It gives it time. The attack came without warning. Not fleets. Not weapons. Information. Human satellites began feeding false data. Defense systems misaligned. Automated warnings screamed across Earth's networks. At the same time, Kelvaran communication arrays received altered commands that appeared to come from Celendes herself. Chaos bloomed. "She's trying to start the war anyway," Malcolm said, fingers flying across a console. "If either side fires, it all collapses." "Can you stop it?" Celendes asked. Malcolm swallowed. "Yes." "How?" "I tell the truth." They moved to the central broadcast chamber. Human and Kelvaran representatives flooded the room, voices rising. Malcolm stepped forward. "I invoke Crocma," he said loudly. The Kelvarans froze. The humans stared. Celendes placed her hand on the crystal interface. "Crocma," she confirmed. The station hummed. Truth fell like a weight. Malcolm spoke. "My name is Malcolm Thorne. Someone is manipulating both sides. Orders you received were false. If you act on them, billions die. If you stop and listen, we all live." Data streams corrected themselves. False commands unraveled. A Kelvaran officer staggered as the truth ripped through his systems. The source, it's internal. Celendes closed her eyes briefly. "My sister." The broadcast continued. Celendes spoke next. "My people," she said, her voice carrying across stars. "You are being lied to. Stand down. I command it." On Earth, Malcolm turned to the cameras. Humanity, he said, we messed up. A lot. But today, you get to choose not to press the button. Silence. Then ships powered down. Systems reset. The war that almost reignited died quietly. Later, Celendes stood beside Malcolm in the empty chamber. She will not stop, she said. My sister believes fear is control. Then she doesn't understand humans, Malcolm replied. Fear just makes us stupid. Celendes studied him. You would confront her. Malcolm shrugged. Someone has to. They met Celendes' sister on a barren moon, neutral ground enforced by both fleets. She emerged smiling, her resemblance to the Queen uncanny, her eyes sharp with triumph. You chose a human, the sister said softly. Weakness. No, Celendes replied. Perspective. Malcolm stepped forward. You're not wrong about one thing. Power does change people. But so does honesty. The sister laughed. You think truth wins wars? No, Malcolm said. I think lies lose them. Under Crocma, she unraveled. Her manipulation laid bare. Her allies abandoned her. Exile became isolation. As she was taken away, she looked at Malcolm with something like hatred. And something like respect. The treaty was signed a week later. No grand parade. No speeches that mattered. Just signatures, witnesses, and relief. Malcolm stood on the balcony of the station, watching Earth rotate slowly below. Celendes joined him. You have altered the course of two civilizations, she said. I just talked, Malcolm replied. That is what frightens me, she said calmly. And what gives me hope. He smiled. So, same time next crisis. Her ears angled forward. Unfortunately, she said, I believe this is only the beginning. Below them, human and Kelveran ships moved together for the first time, not as enemies, but as partners navigating something far more dangerous than war. The future. And for once, humanity faced it not with weapons raised, but with the courage to speak plainly.